Once again I welcome you to Chelsea Sports Channel, where I bring you all the breaking news from Stamford Bridge and Chelsea FC. Today I have more news coming up. Before we start the video, please, it's easy and only takes seconds. Please subscribe, like, share and feel free to comment to get involved in my transfer window debate here. It could be Blue 3 Chelsea striker transfer targets if Thomas Tuchel cannot land Erling Haaland, including Lukaku and Calvert-Lewin. Chelsea are on the hunt for a new striker this summer, and we know Erling Haaland of Borussia Dortmund tops that list. One that is ready to go, ready to come in, and ready to start banging them in. Right now, the Haaland situation seems to be totally open. But what if Chelsea do not get their man, with other clubs clearly very interested as well? I want to assess his three alternatives that could be a good shout for the Blues to pursue instead. In no particular order. Romelu Lukaku, Inter. It would be the fairy tale story, Lukaku finally returning to Chelsea to prove the club wrong by selling him. Well, they tried to bring him back before he joined Manchester United, and I am not ruling out another attempt. We don't need to go into full details on this guy. Everyone knows what he is capable of and what a world-class goalscorer he is proving to be, consistently scoring more than 20 goals a season throughout his career. He is in his prime now at 27 and has already registered 25 goals this season after his 34 last season. He is the definition of a goal-scoring machine. Would Inter sell? I highly doubt it, but why not try if Haaland does choose elsewhere? Andrea Bellotti, Torino. Yes, I know, he was purely just one of the previous flavors of the week, and probably overhyped by some, right? But you cannot ignore his athleticism, powerful strike, natural goal-scoring ability and his stats over the years. He has averaged just shy of 20 goals a season over the last 5 years, which is nothing to be ignored. I also believe his attributes fit the Chelsea brief as a well-rounded, quality striker, even despite some dips in form. Bellotti is 27 years old now, and has averaged a goal every other game this season so far. He is still plying his trade at Torino. Now is it time for his big move? Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Everton. He might have to make do with playing in Harry Kane's shadow for England for now, but this is one top-class striker who has really developed into a monster in the last couple of seasons. The former Sheffield United academy player is technically strong, brilliant in the air, brings others into play and a natural finisher. What is not to like? He has just turned 24 and will be improving still, on the cusp of his 5 or 6 years at his very best level. The Toffee managed 15 club goals last season and is on to 19 already this term, plus 4 in 6 for the Three Lions. If you want that complete striker who can hold the ball up, drive with it, link up play and score all kinds of goals, Calvert-Lewin is your man. But of course, all these are only if Chelsea cannot land Haaland. He must be the priority. Thomas Tuchel already knows his 4 Chelsea undroppables. After impressive start, Thomas Tuchel has enjoyed an excellent start to life at Chelsea, and while he has rotated heavily compared to former boss Frank Lampard, he does have his favourites. Thomas Tuchel has rotated heavily since his arrival at Stamford Bridge in January, but he still has his favourites. Tuchel's predecessor Frank Lampard was criticized over having so many undroppable players with a number of stars, including Marcos Alonso, barely getting a look in during the first half of the season. But since the change of head coach, Chelsea fans have seen much more rotation, with more or less everyone getting their chance to impress over recent weeks. Despite that, there are some players Tuchel has utilized more than others, and in particular, there are 4 who have played more than anyone else. Skipper Cesar Azpilicueta is, unsurprisingly, one of those players, making 13 appearances to date across all competitions, the joint most. Callum Hudson-Odoi has also managed that total, and midfielder Mateo Kovacic. Hudson-Odoi and James's presence at the top of the list might surprise some fans given they have been in and out in the Premier League, but across all competitions, no one has made more appearances. Though, it is close with 3 more players making 12 appearances, just one less than the leading 4. That secondary group includes Mason Mount, N'Golo Kanté and Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger didn't see much game time under previous boss Lampard, but made a shock return to the starting 11 for his final 2 games in charge. The 28-year-old has been a regular under fellow countryman Tuchel, however, only missing out on 1 Premier League fixture, starting all of the remaining 9. None of which Chelsea have lost, with the Blues still unbeaten since their new boss took over. And he, like the others to have featured regularly under Tuchel, will be hoping to continue that form and remain in the manager's plans for the rest of the season. Fans returning and the Champions League, 5 things for Chelsea fans to look forward to in 2021. There are 2 months to go in 2021, but there is still a lot more football to be played throughout the rest of the year. Roman Abramovich, despite his huge admiration for Lampard and what he achieved as a player for the Blues and securing top 4 last season as a manager, had seen enough and wielded the axe, with Thomas Tuchel parachuted in to rescue things. He's done just that as well, going on a 14-game unbeaten run to start his tenure in West London, conceding a ridiculous 2 goals in that time and securing 12 clean sheets in 14 games. Silverware remains a possibility as well, with Chelsea through to an FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City on April 17 as well as the Champions League quarter-final tie with Porto next month. The important goal for Tuchel is to get Chelsea into the top 4 come the end of the season, and anything else will certainly be a bonus. There are 2 months of this season to go, and before we know it, the 2021-22 campaign will get underway on August 14, confirmed by the Premier League earlier this week. It'll be a busy summer for many of the Blues players with international commitments for the delayed Euro 2020 tournament as well. There is still ample opportunity to create memories for Blues fans for the remainder of the year, so here are a few things you can look forward to. Premier League football has been played behind closed doors with no fans in attendance since Project Restart in June last year for the majority, although there was that one game in early December last year when 2,000 fans were allowed into Stamford Bridge to watch Chelsea play Leeds. England was plunged back into lockdown not long after, and fans have not been back at Stamford Bridge since. It has been more than a year since the Blues' home ground was full to capacity. The Premier League is hoping that there will be scope to have fans back in stadiums for at least one home game before the end of the season, but there is hope that for the start of the 2021-22 campaign, Stamford Bridge could be full once again. Kai Havertz's time to shine. Following a tough start to his Chelsea career since his big money move from Bayer Leverkusen last summer, Havertz now looks as though he might be hitting his stride for Chelsea. The attacking midfielder has been sidelined with injury and coronavirus this season, as well as simply having to adapt to a new country and league at the age of 21, and now he has had to go through a managerial change as well. But Tuchel looks to have found a home for Havertz as a false 9, with good displays against Everton and Leeds in the Premier League adding to a good outing against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. He has headed off on international duty with Germany this week and scored against Iceland in a 2-0 victory, finding his goal-scoring boots once again. It all bodes well for Chelsea, not just for the rest of this season but going forward into next as well. The Champions League journey. If you had asked any Chelsea fan who they would have wanted their team to draw in the quarter-finals, then there would have been one answer that 99.9% of them would have given: Porto. That's exactly who the Blues drew in Nyon last week at the quarter-final stage. Not only that, they also stayed on the half of the draw. That means they wouldn't play either Bayern Munich or Man City until a potential final in Istanbul in May. Real Madrid or Liverpool await the winners of the Blues tie with the Portuguese side. It is clearly not foregone conclusion that Tuchel's side will progress to the semi-finals of the competition, but they certainly are heavy favorites to do so. The transfer window. There is not a transfer window that goes by without Chelsea being linked with a host of star names. Maybe the last January one amid the COVID pandemic and financial repercussions, but this summer is expected to be different. Not that loads of cash will be floating around, as clubs will still be feeling the pinch after more than a year of football behind closed doors. The Blues very much want to sign a striker in the window and perhaps a midfielder as well. The transfer window is always an exciting time for supporters, but it may well be a case of players also making way for new ones to arrive. Please subscribe, like, share and feel free to comment. Thanks for watching.